Alright, let's start off the new year right by talking about some dumb shit, as per usual, I suppose. But honestly, this time around, the dumb shit isn't really fun dumb shit. More like blown out of proportions kind of dumb shit. Anyways, let's talk about everyone's favorite punching bag, Matpat. The easiest motherfucker to punch up. Seriously, if you're a YouTuber with under 5K, I suggest punching up Matpat. Everyone's doing it. I'm sure there's absolutely no consequences with punching up YouTubers you've never met. I'm sure everyone will love you for doing it. Everyone. There's absolutely no way this could end poorly for you, you heartless, backstabbing sons of bitches. Where was I? Shit. Oh god, I don't want to come back to YouTube. Oh, I miss my vacation. I don't have to worry about dumb drama and YouTube crap. I just want to watch more bunny videos. Oh, fuck. I forgot. Right, Matpat. Listen, honestly, this situation, it's totally out of hand. So forgive me for having a bit of fun on the topic at hand, because quite frankly, I don't think it's as egregious as some people might make it out to be. Everyone's out here saying Matpat got exposed, TobyFox shat on him, indie devs hate him, he stole a video and is getting sued, etc, etc, you know? I mean, this isn't exactly Machine Gun Kelly versus Eminem. Nobody's dropping diss tracks and shit. This issue was resolved quickly and barely became an issue at all. If anything, the underlying issue itself is how large a non-issue can become a bandwagon of hate when the right ingredients are just right in the World Wide Web. Sorry, I'm talking as if you guys know what the issue is. I apologize. Let me just sum it up for you. Essentially, Matpat had a live stream of a game called Heartbound. Full disclosure, I haven't played the demo yet, so I won't be talking about the gameplay itself, but I am sure all of you can tell by the game's screenshots that it seems heavily inspired by Earthbound, which is unsurprising. So many games have taken heavy inspiration from Earthbound. It's a quirky little game that's so odd, yet so unique, so it's bound to have influenced some of the brightest minds of the gaming industry, most notably the indie game industry. Of course, the game itself also inspired Undertale, no surprise there. TobyFox, the creator of the game, has stated many times that the game was very heavily inspired by Earthbound and that it's one of his favorite games. The thing about Undertale though is that it's a very trendy game. It came out recently, made a lot of buzz when it first released, and is now seeing a resurgence of popularity now that Deltarune has been released, which uses much of the paradigm seen in Undertale. Knowing this, Matpat has always used Undertale as sort of a platform to boost his views, which is fine. Honestly, I don't think it's necessarily evil to talk about the most trendy things on the internet right now. I mean, look at me. I'm talking about drama that happened like a few days ago. It's the way to survive on YouTube. You talk about the latest movies, you criticize the latest gossip, or you play the latest games. It's how it is. Of course, no one is better at milking a topic more than Matpat. Now, listen, personally, I don't really hate the fucker. I think he does a great job being an entertainer on YouTube. Do I think his theories are fucking crazy and whack as hell? Fuck yeah, I do. Are his theories often proven flawed? Yeah, absolutely. But I've always defended the man's videos for the simple reason I defend a stupid blockbuster movie. It's simple entertainment. I'm not going to these flicks to scientifically prove some dumb bullshit. I watch it because it's silly and sometimes outrageous, and if I'm lucky enough, I might learn something. In the end though, I watch to get my mind off of something troubling me that day, and that's something that I feel as an entertainer Matpat is good at. The dude's no scientist, let's be honest. Anyways, enough rubbing Matpat's meat, let's get to the real cock of the issue. What? So Matpat, being who he is, used the game's similarities to Earthbound and by extension Undertale, and claimed it to be the next Undertale. To precisely phrase it, the next Undertale game is here, followed by the game's actual title. Now, I'm not gonna deny that this is in itself very fucking scummy. In fact, I always find it kinda shitty when people make assumptions or comparisons like this with other things. Not just video games, mind you. Do you ever hear someone call some new musician the next Kanye West or like the new Beatles? skills, that kind of shit. I mean, don't you think it's kind of shitty? You're basically just mitigating that person's work, or making it seem like their career is unoriginal, or that the things they work on can't really stand up on their own 2 feet. They always have to be casted by this shadow from another big Hollywood star or musician. Imagine if you went up to your significant other and you were like, "Hey honey, it sucks that we just lost our son Daniel in that car accident, but don't worry, this next kid we're having, oh dude, he's the next Daniel. The next Daniel is here." That's a bit extreme, I know. You know what, I thought of it and I was thinking that's kind of funny, so I blurted it out. Fuck you, this is my channel, you can't tell me what to say. So rightfully, the developers of this game called out Matpat, and not in a sort of, boy, this motherfucker is a piece of shit asshole kind of way, but in a more civilized, yo bro, it wasn't cool that you never linked our game in your description, nor did you even get our name right. Matpat had taken the extra steps to make sure that this game was 100% Undertale clickbait by mentioning Undertale several times in the tags and in the description, and only seldom mentioning Heartbound. Yeah, that's pretty shit. No two ways about it. That's a scumbag move, Matpat. Well, what does he have to say about it? Well, let's read his response one by one. If there's anything I need to add, I will. "I'm sorry to hear you're disappointed in our recent playthrough of Heartbound, but what you see as disrespectful, I would argue is the opposite. Let me explain. First, I don't review the thumbnail, tags, description, etc. prior to the live streams going up anymore. That's handled by 2 members of our team. However, I train them, so their decisions are mine." That's a very non-answer there. Essentially there, he's just saying, hey, it's not my fault. Let me just throw these 2 interns under the bus, but here, let me join them because actually it was my fault. I'm not really getting why he even mentioned this at all. I guess it's just to free his guilty conscience or whatever. I don't know. That said, their goal is to make live streams as searchable as possible. And for games with limited searchability, that's important as it gets them to the audience and attention they deserve. It's the same rationale behind our Deltarune videos being branded as Undertale 2. With this, I understand, and he makes a fair point. Nobody's really heard of the game before, and for the people that have, well, those are the people who have been following the game closely through its crowdfunding campaign, or the people who have actually funded their game. So with this, I do get his motive a bit. Your game is great. And by relating it to something similar that our audience already knows and enjoys, we're hoping to introduce them to it when they might not have checked it out if left with 0 context. That's the rationale. I hope it makes sense. Regarding links, we don't tend to link back to the games we're playing. That's not an intentional slight on you, it's just rarely something we do for games that aren't fan-made or free. We'll talk about having a more standard policy around that. This one I don't actually understand. So Matpat, and I hope I'm not twisting his words, but Matpat just doesn't seem to care to link back to games, it seems. That's just what I'm getting at. It does seem like that's not his top priority, and I think for someone like him, that is someone who actually doesn't work as an independent game developer with little to no money, I don't think he really understands why this is such a bad thing. To not link back to the game store page as a huge YouTuber is essentially getting your banner or profile art done and never crediting the artist. Sure, you paid the artist, but damn, there's a lot of eyes on that banner / avatar. Here's the thing though, I don't think they would really understand if it's a bad thing or not to not link the artist. I mean, they were paid, weren't they? Would not crediting them be such an issue? I guess that's the mindset Matpat had. I paid for the game, I'm giving this game a ton of exposure, why do I need to give the people a link to the game? I know for some people it doesn't make sense, and I can't really speak for Matpat's behalf, but I'm just trying to get his point of view. And I could be totally wrong, but that's just what I see. Lastly, I'm sorry I got your name wrong. Steph had called out the tweet earlier in the stream, but I ended up forgetting the second word on it. And so, this was around the time TobyFox interjected and basically just said this: you should link to any game you play. Creators need all the help they can get, and think carefully if you're misleading your audience with how you present your videos. You went too far this time. To which everyone collectively went, which is a little silly, but the fact that it came from TobyFox and the fact that he said, "You went too far this time," made it out to be a bit more dramatic than it should have been. And this is what kind of started the whole circulation of this story into wider circles. But honestly, TobyFox didn't really say anything like worthy, you know? He just said, hey, link games, it helps a ton. Don't be too clickbaity. You know, this time around it was kind of a little forced and kind of creepy. Even at face value, the statement isn't too crazy at all. So before we get to the conclusion of this little drama, I guess, I would like to mention a few things. First of all, after Toby's response, the internet went wild. Matpat started trending, all sorts of people started talking shit about him, and YouTube, being YouTube, had a ton of people finding opportunities to shit on him even more, which I find very hypocritical because some of these motherfuckers are criticizing Matpat for doing the exact same fucking thing they're doing in their video. Oh, how dare Matpat use Undertale as a clickbait and not credit the game devs. That's fucking disgusting. I'm gonna make a video about this and use TobyFox as my thumbnail and not credit the devs themselves either. That ought to teach the little motherfucker. Secondly, I kind of think it's pathetic that so many people jumped on his ass while it was still sore from all the pounding everyone was giving him. Am I horny? Like, am I horny, actually? Like, why am I writing this? Why did I write this in the script? You know, I looked up Matpat, actually, not too long ago on Google while researching this video, and for some reason, Matpat porn was a suggested search. I don't remember why I looked that up before. So yeah, a ton of people were basically kicking him while he was down, because for some reason, everyone and their grandma has a hate boner for Matpat, and I can't really tell you why. And I've really yet to find any good arguments against him. I've heard he can't take criticism well. Well, yeah, of course he doesn't. He's a big YouTuber who gets millions of views still. You think your shitty advice will help his so-called dying channel? Yeah, seems like he really needs all the help he can get. Man's probably got a big ego. What a fucking shocker. A YouTuber with over 1 million subs thinks highly of himself. Say it ain't fucking so. Let him live in his own bubble if that's the case. I don't get why y'all are so obsessed with him that you have to shit on the dude. And for what? For a piece of drama that's been overblown and solved already? Y'all are so fucking thirsty for his blood, you'll take any reason to stomp on the dude. Don't even get me started on the sad sacks of shits that have all made videos on him, not because they gave a shit about him, but because the hate bandwagon is hot on the trail to success. I'm especially thinking about the guy named Legal Eagle. I think his take on legal issues are very interesting, but he recently came out with a video that seemed very duplicitous. It was a video that came out directly after the Matpat hate wagon, and it stated how much Matpat has stolen his ideas and basically plagiarized the shit out of his videos, but watching the video itself, honestly, I'm not convinced. A lot of the points he makes are very lacking, and many of his arguments are weak. He's basically saying Matpat said a few similar things to his own videos, but what he seems to fail to understand is that the topic these two cover is not only a very popular topic at the time, so it's no coincidence they both make a video about it around the same time, as I'm sure many others have, but also the fact that they're talking about the same exact laws, so it's definitely not shocking that they would cite the same sources or talk about the same thing in a similar matter. I don't think Legal Eagle was really planning to post this after the Heartbound drama, but I do think the opportunity helped motivate him to make the video much sooner than later. Or maybe he did make the video just after the Heartbound controversy. Either way, man, y'all really just love hating on Matpat, huh? Oh, but I'm sorry. Am I sucking Matpat's cock too hard? Is it too much? Am I just a huge fanboy? Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot we live in an age where everyone's fucking guilty and nobody can be defended, not even when the air is pervaded by the stench of bullshit. I just gotta clamp my nose and stick to the script because everyone's gotta hate someone. Because if we don't, we end up blaming ourselves, you fucking cowards. I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me. Listen, at the end of the day, I don't think this was the most evil thing in the world. I think Matpat was a fucking idiot. I don't believe he really understands the value of crediting an artist, even after all this. But I do believe his response was genuine. There's no reason for Matpat to play the bad guy. I'm sure he wants to keep a squeaky clean image of himself and not to be labeled the villain. That's for people like Jake Paul and Rice Gum, not him. At the same time, I find it kind of odd that the issue was brought up in the first place. I mean, don't you? Like, shouldn't this issue be talked out privately? Why air out this sort of thing in the first place? Maybe pirates wanted to speak up for the little guys, or maybe they wanted to expose Matpat just like everyone else. I don't know, honestly. But it is really interesting how we live in a culture where nothing is private, everyone is guilty, and there's no room for negotiations. So, knowing that, it kind of made me happy to see that there were apologies handed out and that there were later fixes to the title and the description of the original live stream. I'm also glad a ton of people now know about the game. Hey, more exposure for the guys, so it's a win-win, right? Yeah, I guess so, but not everyone accepted Matpat's apology, which I find so odd because pirates forgave him already. Yet so many others still don't think it's enough. What does he need to do? Really? To satisfy you. Hey, but I mean, it's like I said, you're guilty and that's that. You can never be forgiven in the eyes of the heartless, emotion-driven internet. That's a fucking shame.